o'clock. We can get our meeting started here. Gary, you got the minutes from the last meeting? They didn't send them out.
Yeah, they were emailed, and they're also on the back of the agenda here. Anybody else?
Well, it looks like, according to this, the only people who were here at the last meeting was myself and Chief Mack. Okay, sir. Did y'all have a chance to look over the minutes, I guess? If, I read them earlier, if there's no additions or corrections, take a motion to approve.
Make a motion of approval.
Motion approved by council, by Fire Chief Billy Manley.
I'll second it.
Second by Councilman Hughes. All in favor? Good. First order of business on the agenda is Chief Manley's got the building marking system. So you want to enlighten us on what's going on?
Just, yeah, it is, just to enlighten y'all of a program we're going to be starting. I'm sure everybody's familiar with the Maltese Cross for the fire department. This is a program where we'll go around and each point on the Maltese Cross, we're going to have little window cleans and we'll stick on the front door. And it just tells us a little bit about the building, what type of construction is it, if there's any hazards in the building, if it's something that maybe somebody lives upstairs that you wouldn't think was living there and so forth and stuff. So just at a quick glance, that first person coming to the fire will be able to look at that and tell quite a bit about the building. It's a volunteer program, but I don't see hopefully too many people resisting it.
So you're going to put it in this all business or residence? Or
All businesses.
Just all business?
Yes, sir. But that's something we're going to get started this year with and so forth. I just want to make the
So
safety
you gonna
council
send
aware
out
of it.
something by letter or just go?
We're just going to go door to door talking to them as we do their monthly or their yearly inspections and pre-planning with them. We'll talk to them at that point in time.
So y'all supply all the
Yes.
stickers?
Yes, sir.
They just put them in this big
Right.
place?
Yeah. What we like for them to do is put it at the front door because that's generally where we'll go into the first, where the fire alarm panel's at. It's just something to help us and speed up our knowledge of the building a little bit.
I don't know if this would help or if it's even possible, but I know that like when we had the fire at the tavern in '98, the firemen knew we had overnight rooms. They didn't know how many, so they didn't really know what to look for.
Right.
So I don't know if it would help to say how many units are up there or something like that.
Exactly. Yes,
That's
exactly.
possible.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and just say above, I don't think it's called First One Things anymore.
Johnson
but-
down there.
The Johnson
Yeah,
building.
yeah. I have no idea how
Right.
many's up there.
Right.
So, yeah.
If there's a way to
So this
indicate
way,
that.
they would know, oh, I look at this part of the Maltese Cross, I know how many units are up.
Oh, so it will tell you.
Yes.
Great, okay.
Questions on it?
Self-explanatory, I don't think you should have much opposition from that.
I don't think so. Hopefully we will. Yeah.
You just do it in your just daily routine.
Right, as we're doing our annual inspections and pre-planning, yes, we'll have them at that time.
Anything else?
I do have a few, and I apologize, for some reason my cell phone didn't send the second email to Gary, so I do just to update y'all on a few things that we're doing at the fire department. I've gotten with Joe Pruitt, who's the local EMA, and we're in the process of getting paperwork filled out to have our trench team, our hazmat team, our water team, all that certified by the state of Kentucky. And what that would do is, if there's a big disaster somewhere, they would contact us, and we're one of the closest departments. I understand a couple of years ago, they had a water rescue in New Haven, and they called Taylor County to come do it, and we're a whole heck of a lot closer just because whoever was in New Haven contacted the state and asked for the water team. And so, and it gives my guys a little bit of pride and knowing, hey, we're state certified to do this now and so forth. So that paperwork is in the process and is moving along. Another thing that I have changed with having two firehouses now, anytime we're dispatched on just a fire alarm sounding, that truck that is closest to that alarm will go with the lights and sirens on. The other truck is coming code 1. We can always step them up to code 3, which is lights and sirens if we need to. But it cuts down on our risk of being out there, being in an accident with lights and siren going just for an alarm sound.
So is code 1 just?
Regular driving.
Okay.
So that's a program we've already started and got going on with us. Another thing is, we're gonna be asking for a new pickup truck in our budget. Hopefully, we can get that replaced. We're asking to replace a 2000, I believe it's a 2000 pickup truck. It really gets real bad gas mileage, and we're wanting to pull the hazmat trailers and the confined space trailers, and it's really not set up that well to tow those vehicles, so we'll be asking for that in the budget. We won't be asking for, we do have a grant proposed to buy a new fire truck. Hopefully we'll get the grant this year. We applied last year and didn't get it. We got some help writing the grant this year for it, so we'll see how that goes. If not, then I guess next year maybe we can sit down and start talking about another fire truck down the road. We're not in an emergency desire. You've got to have one right now and so forth. We're managing, but the truck that we are using that needs to be replaced is a 1993 engine. So it's got some age on it. It's hard to find anybody to work on it.
Sure.
There's some computer programs they try to find out what's going on with the truck, and nobody even has that program anymore but one place. So
3/4 ton truck.
no, this is a fire engine. Yeah, this is a fire
It's
engine.
25 years old.
Yeah.
First one was over 2,000 minutes or whatever.
Right. Yes, sir.
At 2,000 mile, probably a Ford if it's lasted this long. So,
yeah.
18 years old.
And about the only other big item we're going to be asking for in our budget this year is our rescue harnesses are outdated. They're good, they look good, we inspect them weekly and so forth, but there's a shelf life on them. And if we go to do something and they malfunction, then OSHA's going to be looking at us saying, oh, these things expired a couple of years ago and so forth. So we're looking at phasing them in a little bit. We're talking to Barton's and possibly, not Barton's, Heaven Hill on replacing a couple of them also, the stuff that they've mentioned that they might be interested in doing for us and stuff.
Just out of curiosity, what does one cost roughly?
About 3,000.
For $100.
Yes, sir. And that's all I have.
Any questions for the chief about anything? Other than the price of that harness?
How many do you need?
We'd like to have 4. The ideal would be 6, just as backup. But our budget is looking good this year. There was several areas that we're able to cut some money out of. So, hopefully we're pleased with the budget.
We're getting a new firehouse, so.
Exactly.
That wasn't budgeted, so we're
Right.
pretty happy.
Oh, we are. Trust us, we are.
Okay, Betty, you worked a little bit with the Go Coalition. I don't know if
I'm not really up to date. I know Chief's working on that with Betty.
Right.
Tuesday,
No,
yeah,
nothing to update since Tuesday.
So that's when you got United for Recovery, PAD Coalition,
And our group, whatever we decide. What I'm doing now is taking what PATH does and what United for Recovery does and fitting it into my structure. The police chief in Hamilton, Ohio, sent me how he set his up and which programs fit under each department, and then figure out kind of where we're missing, because I don't want to duplicate our efforts. And I've also talked to Judge Kelly and gotten some ideas from him as well. So,
I know the PAD Coalition, they do mostly with the schools and stuff. They got a little money too,
yeah,
in that organization.
they're already at 501c3.
Yeah.
Well, and United for Recovery has their nonprofit status as well.
It's a little simpler to get to non-profit status now than it was 2 or 3 years ago. That's just going through some changes that we're trying to put together the African American Heritage Museum as a 501 educational facility too, so that's not as big as it was 2 or 3 years ago. So,
I know we did the one for BCCA, that took about 6 months or so, I think, yeah, so.
yeah, just depending on, if it's something simple, like what we're trying to do, or what we're trying to do is not too bad, but if it's something completely new, like that BCCA, it's, anyway, it'll work itself out, so.
My goal is to model ours after the one in Hamilton, Ohio, because we know that that worked for them. So, and you know, once I get that and have a clear picture, then I'll bring everybody to the table, the police, the fire, the schools, a doctor, an ER nurse. There's a group of about 10 to 12 people that he recommends that we bring to the table to discuss it, so.
For the coalition.
Mhm.
Okay. We also have with us here tonight, we've got Rockin' Robin over here with the Man's Kitchen. Who's that? Michael King over here. And Deidre Haycraft with Michael with Tap House, Deidre Haycraft with Tolliver Tavern, and Jerry Lear with Xavier's. And they wanted to talk to our safety committee. I'm glad the mayor's here with us here today too, about the extension of their evening hours. So who wants to speak on behalf of that, bring it before the safety committee and tell us why they think it's a good idea, why that we do that.
So the group collectively has had discussions about it as far as, ultimately it started as a discussion of us losing business to the cities that are able to stay open later. All of us have seen it where patrons will just leave early enough to get to Louisville or Lexington so that they can enjoy a few more hours of enjoyment, whatever they're doing, and then come back later in the evening. We're looking only at possibly having the option of staying open until 2. So on those busier times, the festivals, the pub crawls, just those random one-off nights when business is really good and you don't want to push them, everybody out the door. So as a whole, we're thinking if we can keep them until 2, it doesn't give them any benefit to hop in their car and go somewhere else and spend their money elsewhere. This way it keeps the business in town and ultimately makes everybody more money, of course. That's always everybody's goal, but basically we just want the option to be able to stay open later and not have to compete with the cities of, 45 minutes away.
Chief, I did lunch with Chief Crescent one day a couple weeks ago, kind of filled it out to her, and she didn't seem to think that.
We looked at our run volume, and it's not heavy at all at that time period, so if something did, it wouldn't affect us responding. We basically, when they close, our run volume stops until 5:30 in the morning, so it's not going to affect us, being able to pick up runs or anything if that occurs. So that wouldn't bother us.
Mayor, what do you think?
Are you say you want the option, so is it gonna be
Well, it doesn't
either
necessarily.
or? I'm kind of asking, are you gonna be open every Friday, Saturday night till 2 a.m. and then maybe during the week if you're busy or if you're not busy?
Right, and it's just kind of like we are now, because for example, in my case, we close at 9 during the week, but Monday or Tuesday night, I didn't leave till 10:30 because we had people in there. I don't have to push them out the door at 9 because the law says that I could technically stay open until 1 during the week. Where on the weekend, this past weekend, we had Big Black Cadillac, and at 1 o'clock, everybody's still wall to wall, but 30, 40 people want a drink, and I can't give them a drink, and you all need to start making your way out the door, even though business is popping. So it's moments like that where we just want the opportunity to be able to say, okay, well, even though we're going to say we can still say we close at 1. But if we have that day where it's just super, super busy, then hey, we don't have to push them out the door.
Are you saying that you mentioned the option, are you saying that you just want those extended hours on weekends?
I think ultimately it's kind of like, keep it in line now. You want to keep Sunday midnight and the rest of the week 2 o'clock and do it that way. But You know, at the end of the day, we all have a different crowd, we all have a different, you know,
I stay open till 9. If there's no, during the week, if there's nobody in there at 9 o'clock, I close. I'm not gonna sit around with, somebody comes in, a tourist comes in, or a local, whatever. I'll stay until they're done, or, you know, I know I can stay till 1, but if the question is, do we have intention to stay up until 2 a.m. every night, I certainly don't. And it would only be Friday and Saturday, or maybe if New Year's Eve fell on a, you know, during the weekday, something to that effect, or Bourbon Festival, stuff like that.
What about it? So why do you think that the extra hour is gonna solve your issue?
because at that point, getting in a car and going to wherever, and you're only gonna have an hour once you get there, so.
It's hard to believe, but they do. Now, I discourage it, but I see people start talking about, want to leave out here at 12:30, 1:45, and go to Roy.
Louisville stays open till 4.
4 a.m.
And they'll drive to Louisville for 2 hours.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking they might not for one. Or certainly.
It sounds like a very good decision.
No,
Well, that's
it's
exactly another reason, is because it's not safe for people to be drinking and then leaving the bar and going to Louisville. So that's what I'm concerned.
but it's
It's not safe to
legit.
go from
It
your
happens.
bar to 3 blocks.
Well, no, it's not.
We have some good taxi cab services in town that are relatively reasonable on price too, though, so it's easy to put them in a cab and send
Might
them.
bring them, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I'll just say it's easier to put them in a cab than it is to pull them off the road.
Go to a concert in Louisville, you get out at midnight. You know, we're gonna close at 1, you might stay in Louisville. I think they just bring them home, and they know they got a little time to be here.
A lot of people don't go out till later anyways now. It's like 11:30 and then they get there and you only have, you know, an hour and a half, 2 hours, so.
Well, speaking from my experience back before they changed the classification of cities, you know, with me being in Margaret, I understood the concept, what you're thinking, because I knew people do come out 11:30 at night, and they will hang out, then they want to stay out later, but I was always kind of, I didn't like the idea of people coming in and drinking for an hour or so, then jumped in a car and taking off on the road. You know, 3 or 4 people in a car, 5 or 6 people in a car, whatever. The safety aspect is what always kept me, because at 2 o'clock, if people know they can stay up to 2, after 2 o'clock, they should be ready to go home, because an average person can't party more than 4 hours max. But,
I don't think they're agreeing.
but I mean,
He's right, the average person can.
seriously, but if they were there at 2, then they wouldn't get on the road, they probably should go home. But that was always concerned about the safety aspect of it all. But it's not something that happens every weekend, that's for sure. But anyway, I just wanted to hear what y'all had to say.
Y'all need to maybe enlighten me a little bit too. So Kevin, right now they get out at 1 o'clock, and you say you don't have much call volume at closing or whatnot. I started back in this job right at about 2 years ago. And I've been getting feedback from people though that once they leave at 1, there's some loitering going on and they make a noise, and the downtown residents are complaining because they're hanging out. You all might be gone, but they're still sitting in some of the chairs and tables and other facilities on the street, still drinking. In the alleys, they're still drinking. Vomit on the sidewalks on Sunday morning. And I can share with you, so let's address that for now. So do we patrol, I mean, you all tell me, do the police patrol around that time, or does it just kind of happen because there's nobody around watching
Typically,
it?
a cruiser in the parking lot around most of the time. Sometimes there's multiple cruisers.
I've actually told them to go over there, and once the bar's closed, to clear them out of the lot over there, after we got the complaints in on that. So, yeah, they're normally in, you know, the back lot there. Normally 1 or 2 of our guys. The night times I've worked nights
What
there,
about
there's
on
been,
Third? Are they on Third Street? Or are they just hanging out in the city parking lot?
well, I mean, most people go out to that back lot. I think that's where they normally at.
You know, but the complaints I'm getting is out on Third and down the alleys on both sides.
I've never seen anybody that either at that late. Unless they come, like, unless they're
Well, I
gone and then they come back after
But I mean, I
it's
can-
clear.
Well, sit up and smoke in front of something.
I
I mean,
can set them up to patrol
Yeah,
anyway.
but I walk with my wife after church on Sunday sometimes. And
No, I agree
It's
that
pretty
with that.
gross.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen that. That is gross, and that should be.
so
Cleaned up,
I walk
but-
down 3rd Street and Stephen Foster and every Sunday, not every Sunday, most.
Right.
I was just curious if there was something in place where the police were cruising to make sure they disperse.
Well, and like I said, the complaint I got was behind them, so that's where I've actually directed them to be. I can direct them to patrol any given area or, each and every one, but I've actually directed them to be in the back. Because the complaints I received, that's where they
I
were.
think some of them are going across 3rd over into the alley next to Wilson-Beer Bank where they can sit. Because they've got areas to sit. And then I can tell you from walking, down past the Cafe Primo and places like that, I see evidence where somebody had a bad experience because they left that night, those kind of things. I mean, that's going to happen from time to time anyway. But some of the people who live downtown complain about the noise and the people hanging, after hours. So the next thing I wanted to just ask is somewhat unrelated to extra hours. And I don't know if this will have an impact on it or not, but also since I came back on the job, we now have to pick up the litter and trash in the city lot and in front of a lot of your all's establishments twice a week now. We're doing it twice. We're doing it Mondays and we're doing it on Thursdays and Fridays. The only way all this stuff is getting carried out is somebody's not monitoring the doors. And it's happening in front of the establishments, it's out on Stephen Foster, and it's in the back alley. And Philip and Paul are down there twice a week now instead of once a week. That's a cost on the city that nobody's bearing but the taxpayers. And it's worse today than it was 2 years ago. So I don't know who's the culprit, but I think talking about it, Philip sees it in front of all of the establishments and behind the establishments that back up to the city lot. So it's obvious people are walking out of your establishments with drinks and bottles.
That's true, Mayor. They also,
But they're not supposed to. You're not supposed to leave.
That's true.
And I understand, according to rules, you're not supposed to allow anybody to leave your premises with
That's
an
right.
open container or a drink in their hands.
but a percentage of them are what they bring in when they come from the house. They set it down on the ground when they walk in. But we still can get it off.
You're telling me they're coming with these short little plastic wine glasses and red
Well, they
glasses
come up
from
beer
their
bottles.
house?
They do both. I used to have that conversation with Mary Ellen down there.
There's a
But-
lot of plastic cups, and I don't think that,
You're right.
clear plastic cups that are, I don't think they're coming from people's houses. But what I'm saying is, can we get any cooperation out of you guys to,
The
help
police there.
pick up?
Well, I always pick up when
Yeah,
I'm
pick up
there,
part,
but
yeah.
like, and then on the
I
mornings,
understand
since
that.
we open at 6:30, we have two guys that go out there and clean up in front of, because on Sundays, our customers come in, so. But I don't go over to 3rd Street, which,
Now, I know
that's a big deal.
When Troy was at TAP, we had a problem. It seems to be better now. Those garbage cans out front on Sunday mornings were stacked this high up over top of them. So you all, I
We
think.
put our own plastic
Yeah,
garbage cans.
so I think that seems to be better as far as that goes. It was, I had probably two meetings with Troy on that, and he always promised I'll do better. Because I think his people were cleaning up and using those to carry everything out of the thing, and using that as, I said, you got a dumpster. And that's another thing, we now dump that dumpster. We have a truck that runs special to dump that dumpster and the other one behind the other side, on the other city parking lot, on Saturdays. Special.
Yeah, but there's also three more restaurants than there used to be. So, and I think that's a lot too. So.
We're trying to do the best we can, but most restaurants, that are kind of standalone have their own dumpsters. We don't have that ability really
Right.
in the downtown, so we're just trying to do the best we can with that. If we add more dumpster space, we're going to take up more parking, and then people are going to complain about that. My point is, we're trying to do our best to keep the area clean and, have dumpsters available for weekend and so forth, but it's an extra cost to the city. And I think we need some more cooperation out of you guys to police your area with your help, either in the evenings or the next morning after, because it's, it's on your own. It's in the gutters, it's in around the trees that are on the sidewalks, it's in that kind of stuff, and then that lot. I go to Mammy's every Saturday morning with my buddies, and I walk in, I'm picking up beer bottles and cans and throwing them in the dumpster, because I don't want locals as well as tourists to walk past all that junk.
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
And
I agree.
that's at 7:30 on Saturday mornings typically. But we need some cooperation out of you all on this, because
Robbie's to do it, the guy comes help me. He walks down there every day, I bet he'd do it.
Walter, I know Walter cleans up some for you guys behind your.
Yeah, but he doesn't do much. I mean, he's 80 years old now.
We have to clean up our parking lot
Yeah, I
every
mean-
Monday morning.
No, I mean, I think that we could get someone to do that though, like, just to make sure.
Probably pick up that old parking lot.
I mean, my bartenders, I would just say, y'all have, this is what you have to
$3 a
do.
piece, I think we can make that happen.
That's what I was gonna suggest, is that ask Robbie.
Yeah, that
He'd be
too.
tickled to death.
Bartenders or bus
He's
owners,
gonna be there anyways, right?
at the end of the
Or
night.
just my security.
Yeah, but if we
don't do
just
anything.
place the doors, like you said.
Yeah, but there's
That'll help.
multiple things we can do out there.
Because
No, I agree.
If it continues, next thing you know, the ABC guys are gonna be camping out, they're gonna bust somebody, you know. So, I don't want that to happen, but somebody needs to be watching your doors on your premises. I know you can't, on nights you might be slammed, you can't stop every person, but it is the rule, you know. Any more than you don't want people walking in carrying their own liquor, they shouldn't be walking out carrying liquor.
I got you loud and clear.
So what do y'all think you can do? Is it worth the cooperative effort on your downtown crew? Or
Well, I mean, I
what I
think-
call the after hours coalition?
Well, I think obviously we need to work on that now. So I think we should all do that. Maybe ask Robbie, like you said, and then I'll just tell my bartenders and security. But, so
I'm
we
trying to
sit,
get something going now before we get really the busy season.
Right,
August. This is
I
going
agree.
on in off year, off time.
that's what I said, we need to go ahead and get that established where we start that now, like
What is-
this
what is-
weekend, to start
this
getting someone to
March
clean that up.
15th? This is March the 15th. Why don't you do a, fill this out, why don't you do a 60-day experiment?
60, yeah, that'll be prime time on 60.
Experiment for what? Getting cleaned up?
Yeah, clean this place up so that you,
Why would you do experiment? Why don't you just do it?
Yeah.
Well, that's-
Yeah, it's gonna be done.
I mean, it's gonna, yeah,
I
it's
guess
gonna
we
get
wanna
done
see if
now.
it gets done.
Okay, I got you.
I got you.
It's not like we wanna
I
see
got
if
it
it
down
gets
at
done.
both front and back. Nobody leaves with a bottle unless, they sneak it out. But we got garbage cans and,
well, if y'all all in agreement that that possibly work, then show us that it works, and then if the situation warrants itself, then it's just a matter of our local legislative body going along with it possibly. I know we claim to be the bourbon capital of the world, so we can't drink. Still, but you gotta help the city, you gotta help us out on something like that. I mean, that's, because the main focus of all this activity is the little Topper Tavern, Danny, Xavier's Tap House. And they walk back and forth, I'll do my MVDA, I'll ride around, I see, everything. What they do, so. And I know it's not every single weekend.
I mean, I know it happens too, and now it's brought to my attention, I think that I can make sure that around where I'm at, that it's not happening. Like when you walk in on Sunday or Saturday mornings, and you won't see that.
I think your
Because-
bartenders can help with the problem of people carrying it out. But as far as cleaning up, that has to be
Well,
done in
that's
the
what I'm talking about.
daylight.
I'm talking about cleaning up.
Yeah, but
Because-
that has to be done in the daylight, don't you think? 'Cause if it went out
Not
and cleaned
really, I
up
mean,
at
like
night,
unless
you
there
think
is
you-
Yeah, it's.
grow up, I mean, but.
I mean, I used to, have
It's
a
hard to
store
see the brown
downtown.
bottles at night.
And
If we get in there in the morning.
And cups in the bushes and all that.
I-
I had a store downtown, so I know, what you're facing. So I just think if Robbie could clean up early the next morning, that would help.
I used to
And
have
then,
Smitty come over, no parking lot, probably worse than the lane. Smitty would be over at 6 o'clock in the morning, sweeping, blowing, whatever, so the time the sun really came up, the parking lot was clean. People are gonna do, they're gonna do that, they're gonna do so, but you gotta do it.
My concern, one of the concerns I have for extending it is the downtown residents. If anybody's friends with Randy Patrick on Facebook, his posts are sometimes entertaining on a Friday or a Saturday night over what he observes, just trying, to live downtown. So I do feel for those people who live downtown.
Your thoughts, Steve?
Oh, I don't have a vote, but I'm happy to, I'm not necessarily saying I'm 100% behind it, but if you'd ask for 3 or 4 a.m., I'd be for sure. Because I mean, it's a small town, so, when I get calls and complaints all the time, but it would, I think, you'd have a better opportunity to probably get this done if there's some cooperation on making sure you're following the rules and trying to keep people from loitering. The police needs to help with that. I mean, you all can't go out there and, if they're sitting down in front of Primo at 1:30, 1:45 and drinking, but they're still drinking too. So that means to me, I don't know if they went to their car and grabbed something and walked back to a chair out on, Primo in front of Cresso's or whatever, or down that alley over by Wilson River Bank. But I'd be surprised if they went to that much trouble. I figure if they got to their car, they'd leave, but we need some cooperation to try to resolve some of these problems and the litter problems. And the noise is, I'm sure once the word gets out that you've asked for 2 o'clock, we're gonna hear a lot from the residents. They're gonna say, we live down here. No different than my next door neighbor would be complaining if I kept him up at 1 o'clock every weekend. He'd be calling the police.
We're talking about that, we got some complaints, Mayor.
It's after 10, it ain't me. It might be my 2 dogs. But I'm not making any noise.
Nobody has any outdoor music though, do you?
No, currently no. I think you do some early.
Yeah,
on
early,
patio.
like in the summer, yeah.
You mean on the patio?
Yeah, but not like
Yeah, I'll
just
play
really.
speakers, but I could turn the front ones off.
But you're not out there. You're not like, or you're not music outside.
I think Troy did some in the past.
Like Bourbon Festival stuff, we had a band out.
Once a year.
Once a year or some stuff like that.
Yeah, that's like the only time I want to agree.
And I think ultimately, I mean, you're talking about the cooperation, you got a group of people here that all get along, and they've been talking about it already. They're already trying to establish some of that stuff, I know they got the trash cans and then the extra smokers pole out front, because dumping the smokers pole on the city poles are always full, but.
Well, I know there used to be a problem with the downtown residents
Part of the
putting their
experience.
garbage in those garbage cans out front rather than taking it to the dumpster.
That's
And that's what
right.
causes those garbage cans to fill up so
That still
quickly.
happens. And they dump them every day. We go down and dump every one of them every day on 3rd Street,
Yeah, I bet.
except on Sundays, Saturdays.
I've got garbage cans in the front and the back of my place, and I hope that's where they're putting them. They're full, so something's going in there.
Well, let me make this suggestion. This is March the 5th, April 5th, May the 5th.
He's still thinking it's his birthday.
It's 14.
It's 14.
Well, tomorrow will be the 15th. So what if you just do a 60-day trial before you go to this board of council? You all do y'all's part. And then if we have another meeting, discuss this, and if things go like y'all say it's going to go, then we might consider that maybe the action might go.
Then in the meantime, do we want to get opinions from the city residents, or do we want to wait and solicit those?
If they do what they say they're gonna do, we'll hear some feedback from the city residents.
Can we try and touch base in 30, just so we can,
See how it's going.
I mean, but I'd say,
because, I know,
It'd be 60 days before your permit session.
but I'd like to be able to touch base in 30 and see where
Well,
we're
yeah,
at.
You can do that.
That way,
We'll still be, Dick will still be walking the streets in the morning.
Those of you, got a question, those of you that got outdoor, of course, it's not used much this time, well, now it's getting a little warmer, probably would be. So, you know, it's one thing to wash your doors, front and rear, or however it's set up, but how do you monitor people who are out, sitting outside, that are having cocktails or beer? How well can you monitor them from walking off? I think that's probably the easiest ones to get away from you than somebody that's inside.
Well, you have somebody right there at the end of the patio, like when you do have a busier night, you'll have security at the patio, like you can't take your drink out. Or that's where they are when they walk people in.
If you go in and out.
I'm just saying.
There's somebody stands there.
You be monitoring that.
Every weekend, Friday and Saturday night.
What about your
Two
front
trash-
sidewalk? I know you've got
The
tables.
guy that sits at the front side, the front door, checking IDs, has a garbage can, and we have a garbage can outside. I mean, he can't see it. They're allowed to drink out front. I mean, he can't see who takes off down the alley or what, but,
Right.
I mean, like, you're not gonna prevent everything.
No.
We
Yeah,
try
no,
to
I
do.
know.
I'm just asking how
best
you
we
can, see, get that under control.
I think asking your bartenders would be tough. I mean,
Yeah,
I've done there
I think
too.
the
I think that's gonna
bartender-
have to be a security thing. 'Cause
Yes.
When you're busy, there's no way in hell. Either one of
It's
you
gotta be the
watch.
door people.
It's gotta be the
Yeah.
door people.
There's no way a bartender could.
I've been there. There's no way in hell I could watch all that stuff and clean it up.
And, you know, I think the way that, it's called al fresco seating and stuff is, the rule is, technically, there should only be as many people as you got chairs outside and have a drink. We don't really enforce that very hard, and I wouldn't want to be just to the letter all the time anyway, but if you all can help police this yourself, it'll help us.
How much garbage are they telling you they're getting? I mean, I don't know. How much are you seeing? Because I leave there late every night and I don't see. And I look on my cameras at night, I don't see a whole lot of loitering going around and stuff out there.
I'm just telling you what people are telling me, I'm not out that time.
I know, but I don't see it and I leave there late.
But Philip and Paul are picking it up twice a day, they see it twice a day every week. So I'm just asking for some cooperation.
I'm just, wherever it's at, I'm not seeing it unless it's in the back. No, are those people allowed to drink when they do the wedding in that building and stuff?
Oh, Casey Hall.
Are they allowed to, do they drink and stuff in there?
I think it's like if you have a wedding, you have to bring your own alcohol, I
Yeah,
think.
they can have a bar in there too.
So, I mean, whatever comes out of there, I don't see. I don't go that far
I
back.
don't know how many weddings they have with them.
One-offs.
Well, I know that they are not very tidy with their garbage,
Let's
so,
just pick it all up.
huh?
Let's just pick it all up.
Yeah,
Most of it is gonna be
I
ours.
think,
Yeah,
I
I
think when
agree.
they rent that place out, it's up to the people who rent it, are supposed to clean it up, so you get what you get. You know, that,
You ain't gonna get much help out of Barstow. So if you're all gonna be in the game, I don't think it's possible. You're not gonna get much. Some of those people that do that will be kind enough to clean up the inside, but they got things with the family members or wedding party in and out about it. And you always have to take care of it.
but we're trying to make a proactive place, you know, like I said, we've added more staff to the problem already, and also picking up, you know, on the weekends and the dumpsters to try to make room for you all to operate. So we've been doing that, we just, hopefully you all will help us.
Anything else we can do?
Check back in 30 days and we'll keep this 60-day thing and we'll see what kind of feedback we get. Because I'm sure that Jim will write up some or I'll write up something, so we'll see what kind of feedback we get too. You just do yours. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
Anything else you want to bring up on that? After our school, I think they.
We're gonna talk about this project like later on.
Thanks.
I was hoping if I told you.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
The water department guy, this Cody Allen, if he had been here, to do what he's talked about, what he wanted to do, I just left I'll give y'all a copy of what the local ordinance says. Did you get 1 minute?
Yeah. Kevin sent out.
One or two here, so.
That was the state law, I said.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't know.
It's basically the same thing. It's, talks about a little bit more.
I wasn't gonna go over until, unless this guy came and brought it up, so if he wasn't gonna bring it up, then,
I mean, he said and asked how he could get it done, and I guess that's where this started.
well, I just sent the information that the chief sent us over here and what the state law said about the license of the APC and whatever it is.
It'd be tough to do here though, with the touch.
But if he didn't have a proposal that was gonna be something we could talk about, then I don't think we're equipped to talk about it. We don't.
Kind of my question is,
Where
where would it drive to? I mean, everything's like so close.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know where your
I'm not sure what the.
real need to ride
What
is.
is it?
I don't think you want to go down the hill.
It's yeah.
Unless he rides them around town.
So you actually.
You know, they go
Yeah,
sightseeing.
you pedal now. The person that steers it works for the company. They've got the braking and they've got the
But
steering.
the people actually,
But the people that are all sitting drinking are pedaling the whole time. There's a pedal under each one of them, so they all power it.
Yeah, in the larger cities, they're kind of going bar hopping.
Yeah, they go from.
But there's a
It's kinda
greater,
like a
there's a greater distance. I mean,
Yeah.
You got
Here-
2 blocks.
Everybody on, everybody off. Over here.
That's what I'm worried about is that, you know, you might have people start renting it for a bachelorette party and they want to ride around town and sightsee and
Well-
drinking and playing music and all that.
when the
You can't let
guy,
music be,
when the guy brought it up, and I said, well, we'll put it on there if he wants to come and try to explain us what he's trying to do.
yeah.
But if he's not here, then, you know, then we'll wait till that, we'll cross that bridge when it gets there, if it ever gets there.
That's what I say. You can, I guess, limit, you know, within your ordinance where he could use it.
Yeah, so yeah, you come according to these rules and regulations.
Oh, yeah.
That's a $2 million
I would
liability,
if I was on it.
insurance and all that
And I
other
was
stuff
younger.
going along with that.
So, you know, you can't let
He
them
said,
have music.
whoever decides to do something like that, they're gonna have,
I think they've got, the company does it, Louisville has 4 of them.
But yeah, you could hear that driving around when somebody's driving
Yeah.
around your house.
well, they're not cheap, I wouldn't think.
And that's mainly actually in Louisville, from what I've seen there, is bachelor parties, bachelorette
Bring
parties.
their liquor.
There are some people that just do little tours, just like a work group that does, you know, Friday after work, if they, but I mean, you can, I think they've got like a tour, you can say, I wanna do this, or you can say, I wanna go here, here, and here, and
Bigger
here.
cities have.
You know, I guess that's, say, if they're allowed in that area or not.
Absolutely.
The only thing I would
I don't
say
think there's enough.
was it be something like Jones's little route. But, you
The
know,
horse,
yeah, but like I said, this guy that's gonna do it, or talking about doing it, he'd have to go through a whole lot of red tape, so if he's not here to talk about it, I'm not even gonna bring it up.
Does it Jonesy go up Westview and Foster? So
They're
they're gonna have to pedal hard.
ain't nobody gonna wanna do the hills.
No, let's stop at the bottom and go back.
Betty, you got anything else you need to
I
bring
do
up?
not, thank you.
Frankie?
Can we touch on that? Is that a problem, just touch on
Yeah,
that?
you got 10 minutes.
Thank you. Make it quick.
Another meeting at 6 o'clock.
We talked a little bit about, right around March14 City Schools. I know we talked about that in the election, about trying to do something to mitigate that traffic. And just see if anybody had any ideas. I know it's state right away there, so there's nothing you can really do as far as that goes.
Well, they don't want to put a crosswalk there because there's no stop. There's one stop, and that's what they told me.
Okay.
Typically will not put a stop now to the point right there directly in front of school. There is one, but it's not a stop, and there's another one by St. Joseph's School. It's not a stop, but that traffic's not coming off of State Highway.
Sure.
You know, at speeds they are coming off Templin, even though it's school sign says 35, slow down to 35. So they just said they would not put one of us. Now, that's not the whole issue either. I'm just talking about that crosswalk that they want to get there at Templin and Fifth Street. So the kids could get across and go on over to Westwood Trail and that area. Because that traffic is going in both directions on Templin, particularly, well, either way it's going pretty fast at that Fifth Street. And then they also did say, and that's the part that they haven't, but they did say they would look at it and see if they thought, if they made that a three-way stop, if that would, what kind of stacking issue they would create. Okay, we haven't heard back on that.
Okay.
You know, so that's, I mean, if a three-way stop could be put there, so both directions of 10th would come to a stop, 5th going on to 10th would come to a stop. That, then you could put a crosswalk, but I think
I'll tell you right now, I doubt that'll happen, because
they think that could be a stacking problem. because
it
people
would
come
be,
in all day.
I'm gonna tell you why it's gonna be, that won't work. Because already now I get total complaints. See, the middle school, the primary school and the elementary school, kids have to be to school at 8 o'clock. The middle school and the high school have to be there at 8:30. Most of my habitual tardiness is from the primary school and the elementary school. Because people don't let kids ride the bus that much. Everybody wants to drive their kids to school. And it's a problem as it is now, and I can imagine if it was even more of a stacking problem, what the issues would be. So that I don't think that'll work from the school point of view.
Is there more to what your question is?
No, I just had some people really ask about that because just concerned about the kids going across there. I know you mentioned on the crosswalks where it didn't work out.
The state's they particular though. And see, they, right across from right in the middle of Barstown High School and halfway in the block between Bashir and Beale, Barstown's got the building across the street where they do in-school suspension. So our school resource officer had that idea, said, we need to put a crosswalk right here, so that's the only place the kids cross by. You can't put a crosswalk right in the middle of the block.
They'd have to go up to the stop sign, yeah.
Well, they go up where the corner is, on the intersection, which we do have crosswalks there with the wide ones, and they thought that was kind of nuts when I said that. I said, well, I've had a little experience with these crosswalks, like the street signs and stuff like that. I said, but you're not gonna be able to put a crosswalk right in the middle of the street that's coming.
Well, the other thing is, the crosswalk, what the state says, you are supposed to yield to pedestrians. And they've had situations in Kentucky where people have been hit by traffic and local municipalities got sued because they had a crosswalk in a place like that that didn't have to stop. And it's so like, they say this creates a false sense of security that I'm in the crosswalk. And we know there are people coming off that 10th one, they're going 50 miles an hour. Especially if they're not slowing down to stop and turn right on 5th, they're going on the 4th.
And they don't signal, so you think they're going straight.
All the time, absolutely.
And on 5th Street between Beale and Broadway, that's 2 blocks of straight stretch. And just by habit, without even thinking, if you've got a straight stretch road, people are automatically going to speed up unconsciously. They speed up.
And they don't see people. While I was on the department, we had 2 crossing guards who were out there with signs that got killed in my 20 years, where they just clipped them. They just don't pay attention and turn and gun it.
We heard back on this stacking
people.
thing. I'll make a note to ask Jessica.
And forgive my ignorance on that, just had some people ask on that and wanted to just bring that to everybody's attention.
And I think if you're talking about three-way stop and one of those is the state highway, the state highway engineers have to come in and do a whole study.
That's what they're talking about, yeah. They're talking about the stacking issue.
But so their engineers will come and do it, I don't know how long they have to do it, monitor it, like different times a day, different seasons, to see the whole flow of it. Yeah, nothing quick's gonna happen.
It took 2 years on that road died on North 3rd Street.
You're kidding.
Well, I was there right there in the middle of it. 2 years to do that. Ended up being, but people still drive too fast. Just trying to get in where the road, then they still can't go anywhere once they get there. They just gotta, but the accidents have stopped it quite a bit more so than what they used to. On North 3rd Street, between Bashir and Wendy's. On top of Bashir and Saxon now. We used to sit out there and just watch them.
It's made a big difference. We could set our watch and anywhere between 3 and 5 on Friday. There's going to be sirens and lights and
bam. Here's
there it is.
But it's, that road that's probably one.
RVs in front of Wendy's was dangerous.
A lot of people got to get stuff across that. But anyway, that's. All right, nothing else. We can call this a day. Call it a wrap. Thanks, Dick, for being here. Chief.
Need a motion to adjourn?
second.
We're out of it. I'm gonna go check on my horses. They got freaked out by a flying crap.